wide range of options and determine the most suitable solution moving forward. Employees working at the Opama plant will continue their employment there until the end of fiscal year 2027. Regarding the employment and work arrangements after the integration, we will consult with employees and unions to explore suitable options for the next steps and their support. Consultation with unions will begin once mutual agreement on the framework and timing is reached. This decision applies only to the Opama plant, which is part of the Opama district. All other functions and facilities in the district, such as the Nissan Research Center, the Grand Drive, Crash Test Center, and the Opama Wharf will remain unchanged. Let me also inform you of our decision to stop consignment of NV200 production to the Nissan Shatai Shonan plant in fiscal year 2026. A successor to the NV200 is planned for introduction in fiscal year 2027, with further details to be shared at a later date. We have earlier confirmed that consignment of the AD model will end in October 2025. Aside from these, there will be no other reduction or consolidation of vehicle production sites in Japan under Nissan. Any other production sites outside Japan will be communicated at an appropriate time as decisions are made. Next, I will explain why the Opama plant was chosen. As part of the Nissan, Nissan is progressing with the global restructuring of its production footprint. Currently, excluding China, the company has an approximate global production capacity of 3.5 million units. However, only around 70% of this capacity is being effectively utilized. Therefore, we are reorganizing our global production from 17 plants to 10 plants by fiscal year 2027, aiming to reduce fixed costs while increasing plant utilization rates to 100%. This restructuring involves a detailed analysis of regional sales volumes, product lineups, and production capacities, with a focus on fundamentally transforming our cost structure and ensuring flexibility in response to external environmental changes. Currently, the plant utilization ratio in Japan remains around 60%. We need to restructure our manufacturing footprint to make it more competitive. Our product lineup for Japan is strong. We will introduce new models such as the Leaf, Elgrand, a new K car for the domestic market. But given the unpredictable nature of the US tariff policies and other external factors, export operations face considerable uncertainty. To navigate this environment effectively, it is imperative to establish a production capacity that is appropriately scaled and supported by a flexible manufacturing system capable of adapting swiftly to external changes. For this reason, we have considered integrating and transferring vehicle production in Japan. This consideration has been based on a comprehensive analysis of capacity, cost competitiveness, the potential for new investments resulting from production consolidation, and other factors. As a result, we have concluded that transferring the production of compact cars, such as the Note and the Note Aura, from Opama plant to Nissan Motor Kyushu and consolidating operations there is the most optimal solution. We are confident that this transfer will reduce our manufacturing costs in Japan by around 15% in the medium to long term, significantly contributing to the profitability of our Japan business and supporting the growth of the company after Nissan. This decision, especially for the employees working at the Opama plant, involves considerable hardship. It was a difficult decision for both myself and the company. However, we believe it is necessary for Nissan to overcome its current challenging situation and return to a growth trajectory. In implementing this plan, the HR and manufacturing division will closely work together, prioritizing transparent communication with employees. We will sincerely listen to the voices of local communities and business partners and do our best to minimize the impact. Until vehicle production concludes at the Opama plant at the end of fiscal year 2027, we will continue to produce high-quality vehicles that satisfy our customers. Now, let me take this opportunity to acknowledge the rich history of Opama plant and pay my tribute. The Opama plant began operations in 1961 and has produced over 17.8 million vehicles to date. Throughout its more than 60-year history, it has helped shape Nissan's identity and has created numerous vehicles cherished by customers around the world. The cars produced at Opama are symbols of Nissan's technological excellence and are a source of our pride. This will remain unchanged even after production concludes at the end of fiscal year 2027. Furthermore, the history of the Opama plant, built together with the local community and partner companies, is a treasured part of our legacy. To everyone who has supported us across generations, our valued employees, families, and partner companies, we extend our heartfelt gratitude. Our legacy and presence in the Opama district will continue, and we will strive to deepen our contributions to the community while advancing innovation and operational excellence. Finally, let me reiterate that today's announcement marks a restructure that comes with significant pain. However, I firmly believe that carrying through with these actions is essential to overcome the current difficult situation and returning to a path of growth. That concludes my explanation.
Thank you, Ivan. We'll now open for Q&A. If you raise your hands, our team will pass on the mic to you. Request you to keep to 2 questions per person so we allow more questions from everyone. So can I see the hands? Okay, we start in the middle. First row, first person, yeah.
東洋経済の畑と申します。私からでは2問お願いいたします。1つ目はこのパマおよびこの湘南工場のお話もありましたが、ここの閉鎖による効果についてお伺いしたいと思います。コスト改善効果の 15% というお話がありましたけれども、工場の国内の稼働率 60% という状況、これをどこまで引き上げられることができるか、あとその利益でいうとどれぐらい引き上げられることができるか、このあたりを1問目お願いいたします。2問目を続けていいですか。はい、2問目は取引先への影響というのをお伺いします。オッパーの工場を閉める、生産停止することで横須賀に工場を持つサプライヤー取引先の移転ですとか閉鎖を迫られるということもあるかと思います。先ほど何世代にもわたって一緒にやってきたパートナーという話もありましたけれども、こうした取引先への影響をどう考えるのか、あとそういった取引先への説明ですとかサポートをどう行うのか、このあたりをお願いします。
Yeah, thank you for your questions. On the first question, our forecast for utilization ratio in Nissan Motor Kyushu is to achieve 100% after the transfers. So this gives you an image of the efficiency that we are able of achieving. And as I mentioned earlier, the expectation on manufacturing cost improvement is in the magnitude of 15% in Japan, within Japan. As for your questions on suppliers, we are going to discuss individually with each of them and find the best solution for each of them, because some of them might find that it's better to relocate their operation or resource. Some of them might request us to support logistics. So there's several solutions here that we want to discuss individually with each of the suppliers, because the context is different depending on each one of them. Thank you for the questions.
Thank you. Next question, please. go to the gentleman over there. Yes, please.
日本放送畑中と申しますが、今日はありがとうございます。今回の措置によってですね、従業員およそ2400人いらっしゃいますけど、オッパーマからどれほどの人員が整理されるんでしょうか。周辺の町にとっては重要なことだと思います。もう一つですが、周辺の研究施設、テストコース、専用府等は継続するとありますけれども、それは聖地として、半永久的に続いていくと見ていいのか、あるいは当面、あるいは段階的に整理するというようなことも選択肢としてあり得るのか、お聞かせください。
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your question. Let me start by the second part of your questions. We will continue permanently with these operations. There is no plan to stop or resize them. So the operations beyond the vehicle production in Opama will continue. Out of the total employment that we have in the district, we have around 4,000 people in the whole district, and 2,400 belong to the vehicle production. What we're trying to do, and this is the philosophy that we took, is to try and minimize the impact on these employees. So first and foremost, all of them will continue with their employment until the end of fiscal year 27. And we have given ourselves this long lead time for two reasons. One is to allow the continuity of a product supply to our dealers in Japan and our customers, avoid any blackout, but also at the same time have enough time to consult properly with employees and unions and give the right conditions and support for them. We are looking at alternatives to protect their employment by relocating them to other production facilities, relocating them to some of the other activities that we have ongoing in the same Opama district. And we will have a close communication with both employees and unions after we have the alignment on timing in the framework with them. This is what we will do, and we have promised to our employees to have our utmost support, responsibility, and fairness as we go forward. We understand this is a very, very painful thing to go through, and we are ready to support as much as we can. Thank you for the question.
Next, I'll take the question from the first row, middle. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Régis Arnaud from Le Figaro. Two questions just to follow up on the question before. So 3 years before closing the plant is quite a long time. So I'm sure it's out of consideration for the employees. But if I understand correctly, Nissan needs a lot of cash to go there and has a cash flow problem. Are you confident that you can reach these 3 years? And second question about Nissan Shatai. You will stop a model, but you will not close Nissan Shatai. Is it correct when I understand that?
Yeah, thank you. So on your first question, the decision to have this schedule is a combination. First is the best business viable solution because it takes time to relocate product from one plant to the other, as you can imagine. And this is why we're taking this time. And at the same time, in combination with having the right approach with our employees, this was the best course of action. So this is what we have decided, and is the best both for the company in terms of business as well as our employee base. As for the second question, I cannot elaborate on the plant because this is a plant that is owned and operated by Nissan Shatai. The only thing that we are confirming today is we will no longer be producing the NV200 there at the end of 2026. But we will have a replacement model coming in 2027. The decision on what happens with the plant is to be made by Nissan Shatai. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Next question, please. The first row on the left side. First person, please.
テレビ朝日の松岡です。よろしくお願いします。2問ありまして、1点目が閉鎖しないオプションはあったのかということです。協業中のホンダとの関係や、報道ベースではありますが、本杯との協業案もあった中でいうと、閉鎖しない検討というのはされたんでしょうかというのが1点目です。で、もう1点目が工場の跡地の活用に関して、これは売却されるということなんでしょうか。例えばその工場の跡地の活用案に関して具体的な例があれば教えてください。
Thank you. The decision we're making today is to stop the vehicle production in Opama. And this is what's best for Nissan for the future, even we understand it's a painful decision to make. And the decision was made, as I said, because this is the best viable option for Nissan for the future. In terms of future utilization, we are discussing with several partners. I cannot tell you details because we have confidentiality agreements in place, but we will look at different scenarios and alternatives for repurposing of the assets. What I can tell you is we are not engaging in any joint ventures or contract manufacturing discussions with any external parties. We are looking at potential resale of the assets or repurposing the land. This is the considerations that we are having as of now. Thank you for the questions.
Thank you. Next question, please. To the gentleman. Yes, please.
産経新聞の池田と言います。すでに公表されているタイやインド、アルゼンチンといった工場の、終了に加えて、今回の国内の、工場の終了で、いわゆるリー・ニッサンで掲げている生産能力の削減のどの程度の割合まで、計画として進んだのでしょうか。いわゆる能力削減の進捗、計画の削減状況の進捗を教えてください。それが一つです。それと、今後の生産拠点の見直しにおいて、いわゆるそのトランプ政権の関税の影響というのをどういうふうに考えていらっしゃるのか、できるだけその米国に生産をシフトするというような、意図での見直しということもかなり影響してくるのでしょうか。その点を教えてください。
Thank you for the questions, Ikeda-san. As for the progress, it's hard to give you a percentage, but what I can tell you is we are going according to the speed of our plan. As you rightly said, we have made already some announcements before, and we have announced already Argentina, India, and some other steps that we have taken, and this was done in the course of 2.5 months. So this is just showing the speed and determination that we have to accelerate the implementation of our Nissan plan. Going forward, the way we looked at this is one of the good things about Nissan's industrial system is that it's very broad worldwide. The issue we have with this industrial system is that we have too much capacity. We are trying to keep the flexibility because today we have tariffs, but tomorrow we don't know what we will have. The world is changing by the minute. So what we considered very carefully was what is the best industrial footprint strategy to maintain flexibility for the future. This will allow us or should allow us to shift production to the most economically viable place in terms of costs, but also allow us to react whenever we have some geopolitical tension coming in, some particular scarce materials like we are experiencing lately with rare earths and some other things. So this is what we're trying to protect from the industrial system that Nissan has today. And this is the approach that we took, Ikeda-san. Thank you for your question.
Next question, please. To the gentleman on the left side.
すみません。朝日新聞の西山と申します。2点ありまして、1点目が、今回社長も生産終了という表現を、取られていると思うんですけれども、これはオッパマ工場というのは、閉鎖をするかどうかまだ決めていないという意味合いで、その生産終了という言葉にしているのか、その閉鎖とは何か違う意味があるのかということを教えてください。で、2点目が、先ほど湘南、日産車体の湘南工場については、これ閉鎖や削減というのは、現時点では決まってなくて、今後27年のから出る NV200 の後継モデルを引き続き生産し続ける考えがあるっていう、そういうことでいいんでしょうか。
Thank you. Thank you for your question. So, stopping the production and closing the plant. We are stopping the production and we don't intend to produce any more Nissan vehicles in Opama. So this is clear. The future of a plant, as I explained before, we are exploring scenarios. If there's somebody interested in buying the assets, maybe we can imagine having some other sort of operation there. But for the moment, there is no such plan decided. So we are stopping the production in 2027 and repurposing the assets. This is the assumption that we have as of now. As for Shonan, the NV200 successor will not be produced in Shonan. This is also decided. And with this, as I mentioned earlier, we want to conclude the chapter of Japan vehicle production consolidation. There will be no more vehicle production consolidation actions in Japan as part of Nissan. And we want to do that in one single event, as we are doing now, to stop the speculation and the anxiety that is happening in Japan today, because it's affecting greatly our employees, and we owe that to them. That's why we're doing all these decisions quickly, swiftly, and in one single event. Yeah. Thank you for the question, Nishiyama-san.
Go to the next question. The gentleman over there. Yes, please.
西日本新聞の前田と申します。生産移管先の日産自動車九州についてお伺いしたいんですが、生産能力に、キャパシティに余裕があることは承知しておるんですが、移管に伴って新たな設備投資が、考えておられるのかというのと、あとその将来的な日産九州の人員についてはどのようにお考えでしょうか。お願いします。
Thank you. Yeah, there will be, of course, some investment to be made to transfer the models. We don't have numbers to provide you today. And as for the headcount, we will be looking at how we cover the required capacity as we move forward. As I explained, we are looking at options for our Oppama employees in the future, and this might be a source of such headcount if the need exists. So no detail to be shared as of today, Maeda-san. Thank you for the question.
Next question. To the gentleman there.
日刊自動車新聞中村です。今日はありがとうございます。2点お願いします。まずはこの2ヶ月間の議論について伺わせてください。5月に日産を発表されてからですね、今日発表に、オッパマ発表に至ったわけですけれども、この間の議論ですとかスケジュールというのはオンスケジュールで進んでいたのでしょうか。またなぜオッパマから発表になったのでしょうか。それがまず1点です。2点目がですね、新型キックスの生産開始というところも発表されました。今後のこのキックス、ノート、それからオーラはどのように移管を進めていくのか、スケジュール感、それからまた新型車を、キックスをここで生産を始めるというのも、少し矛盾しているようにも思いますけれども、どのような考えで、このような新型車の生産も始めるのかも含めてお伺わせてください。よろしくお願いします。
Thank you. So many questions. So let me try. Are we on track? Yes, we are on track. We are on track to what we announced, and the speed, as I said, is aligned to what we had envisioned in the plan. So we are moving according to the plan. Why Oppama first? I think I just elaborated on this. Out of the global operations where we see the most effect and anxiety in employees is Japan. And rightly so, we decided to make quick decisions in Japan because, as I mentioned before, we owe this to our employees. We owe clarity, we owe determination and simplicity, and this is what we brought with this quick decision so that they can understand what is going to happen. And as I said, we will keep a very close communication with our employees, very respectful and responsible approach, trying to protect and provide options for their future, as I explained before. Then the move of product was your second question. This will be progressively. Yeah, if I don't have a detail to share you which month and at which time, this will be done progressively. And as I said, we intend to finalize this by the end of fiscal year 27. Yeah, and the reason why we're introducing kicks is twofold, as I mentioned before. One, we want to provide continuity of a product supply to our customers because this is a product that is expected. And if we had chosen to move the product now, there will be a vacuum, a blackout in terms of vehicle supply, which we don't want our customers and our dealers to experience. So we decided to continue with the introduction of a new kicks. And these will be transferred at the later stage. This also, as I said earlier, this also allows for a smoother transition for our employees that may be affected in the coming couple years in Opama. Yeah. Thank you for the question, Nakamoto-san.
Next, please. Come to the gentleman over there.
すみません、共同通信の山口と申します。本日ありがとうございます。その人員のところで質問だったんですけども、その日産車体のその人員については、どういうようなその扱いをされるのかということと、またその組合でその協議されていく中で、勤務地のその変更とかで受け入れられない方もいらっしゃったりすると思うんですけども、そういう方については何かしらその早期退職のような扱いでお願いしたりするのか、そういうようなその手立てをお考えなのかということが1点と、あとその7月からその国内で事務系のその希望退職を募っていらっしゃると思うんですけども、その今回の先ほどもそのリストラ国内の再編みたいな合理化についてはこれで終わりだというようなお話もありましたけれども、今回のその拠点の再編に伴うその例えば人員削減と国内の事務系の早期退職の募集というところで国内の人員削減リストラについてはこれで出尽くしという考えていいのか、それとも他にもまだ進めなければいけないところがあると考えていらっしゃるのか、お考えをお聞かせいただければと思います。
Okay, so again, multiple questions. So on the headcount, I think this is a discussion to have more with Nissan Shitai, because as I mentioned earlier, these are decisions that Nissan Shitai has to take. What you can be sure about is, as being part of a Nissan family, we will be very responsible and very fair on whatever actions have to be made with the workforce in Nissan Shitai, if there has to be any, because again, this is a decision that has to be made by Nissan Shitai. Then your second question was about support for people that don't want to move. What I mentioned earlier is we're going to start very quickly a consultation period. We want to speak with all our employees, including, of course, the unions, and find the best alternatives to provide. As we said before, there's the idea of providing relocation to some of our manufacturing sites. There's the idea of also having, if people is qualified, we have other operations in the same area in Opama. And if not, well, we will see how we can support them, finding the best support that the company can provide. What the employees can be sure is that we will be very fair, very responsible, and very human on the approach, because we understand this is some strong hardship for them and their families, and we will take care of that. Then you mentioned about BSP. BSP is ongoing. Yes, it's ongoing in some back office functions in Nissan. It's a voluntary program, so this is an option that the employees can decide to take or not based on their own decision, and it's an ongoing program that we see is a way of allowing Nissan to restructure, while at the same time we provide a very fair option to employees that desire to take it. Yeah, this is what I can tell you. Thank you for the question.
Next, come to the gentleman over here.
読売新聞の向山と申します。2点質問あります。1点目がですね、オッパマ工場の閉鎖を決めた理由で、最もそこが合理的だったからと説明ありましたけれども、稼働率が低迷している国内の工場というのは、栃木工場も似たような状況かなと思ってます。あえて栃木工場ではなくて、オッパマ工場とした理由について詳しく伺わせていただければと思います。もう2点目がですね、国内での完成車工場の再編はこれで終了というふうに先ほどおっしゃられてましたけれども、部品工場ですね、エンジン工場、横浜工場やいわき工場などのエンジン工場の、統合や再編というのはまた今後も検討されてやっていくという考えでいいのか、でまたその検討状況についてもお伺いできればと思います。
Thank you. So as I explained earlier, the approach was a multi-angle approach in the decision of Opama, and we concluded that the best was to move the compact cars into Kyushu. It's a combination of looking at the lineup, looking at the demand of the products that we have in the different markets, on keeping the flexibility of our industrial footprint. And in the end, of course, it's a financial decision, right? But not only. It's not only the reason that we took the decision by. We, as I said earlier, also to one of your colleagues' question, we want to keep the flexibility of the system, and this is what we're doing. So this is to answer your first question. Then, yes, we are stopping the vehicle consolidation activity for now, and there is no announcements to be made on the powertrain for the moment. Yeah, we will keep you informed if there's anything new, but for the moment, there's nothing to be shared. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Next question, please. We've come to the first row. Pass on to Ochie-san first, and then we'll take the next question.
すみません、日経の落合です。よろしくお願いします。2点お願いします。1点目、従業員の扱い、これから議論されるってことですけど、これも本当、基本的には他の日産の地域の工場や、あとグループ内の他の作業での、単純な配置転換で基本的には対応されるという認識でいいかというのがまず1点目。2点目が、オッパマについてですね、先ほどお話で、資産売却や資産の目的を変えることを考えているという説明がありましたが、それは例えば他の自動車生産を手掛けるような企業に、売却するであったり手渡す、そういったことを念頭に置いているのかいないのか、それともそういう選択肢を含めて今幅広く検討しているのか、この2点お願いします。
Thank you for the question. As I said, the principle is to talk to the employees and find the options that are best for them. This is why we want to talk to them. Yeah, I am not able of deciding for them. If there's other options, like again, relocating them to some other operation within Opama, this is another option that we can consider as Nissan. We want to provide multiple choice and then discuss with our employees to find what's best for them. Then as for repurposing, as I mentioned earlier, we are discussing several scenarios. We cannot disclose who are we discussing with because we have confidentiality agreements in place. But the principle is to try and find a buyer for the plant if there's somebody that is interested, or to some assets of the plant. If there is nobody interested on this, the plant will just remain closed, and that's what we will be doing. Yeah. So as I said, the decision was made without considering any potential sale. Financially, this is what the decision is showing, that this is sound, even if we don't sell or partner with anybody or do any other additional action. So we are closing, and then of course, if we find somebody that is interested in buying some assets of the plant, we will probably consider. That's what we can share today. Thank you.
Thank you. Go to the next person.
ご説明ありがとうございました。NHK の帯と言います。私からも2つお願いいたします。オッパマ工場の跡地の活用の件で重複してしまうんですけれども、委託生産とか合弁会社の話というのは今していないと、複数のパートナーとしていないという話がありました。で、現時点で社長としてですね、どんな活用方法がベストだと、少なくとも考えているのかということを教えてください。2点目については、日産車体湘南についてなんですけれども、生産を終了するという発表が今ありました。神奈川県内周辺含めてですね、かなり取引先ダメージがあるということで、個別に支援を行っていくということでしたけれども、そもそも現状においてですね、日産自体にそういったサプライヤーへの支援といったような、体力が残っていると、実行策がある支援を行っていけるというふうに考えてよろしいんでしょうか。以上よろしくお願いします。
Thank you. I think first question I have answered multiple times, so I'm not going to elaborate again on that. As for your second question, we will, as I said, discuss with the suppliers that may be affected. In the case of Nissan Shatai, if they decide to do that, this will be a Nissan Shatai discussion to have. It's not something that Nissan Motor will have to go through. Because again, we are consigning production to Nissan Shatai, and then it's Nissan Shatai's decision to whatever they want to do with the plant. Maybe they will continue, or maybe not. Something that should be decided by Nissan Shatai. Yeah, thank you for the question.
Thank you. Go to the end. FT.
Thanks, Yvonne. Could you just explain why you don't want to pursue the option of contract manufacturing or a joint venture? Thank you.
Yeah, for the moment, what's best for Nissan is to try and sell the assets or repurpose the land. This is what we were pursuing, and this is the current guidance or direction that we have set. Now, with that said, it's not out of a question. We might discuss later on, but for the moment, as I said, there's no discussion on going on any JV or any contractor manufacturing at the moment. Yeah, thank you for the question.
Next question. We have time for just 2 more questions if anybody wants to ask. Come to the front here.
ベストカーウェブの塩川と申します。2問質問をお願いいたします。オッパマ工場については、かつて P10 のプリメーラなどかなり名車も生産された工場で、データや数値に現れないノウハウだったり、伝統や誇りが生産現場の皆さんにあると思うんですが、日産九州にそれがスムーズに受け継がれていくと社長はお考えでしょうか。もしくはその施策というか方策などはお考えでしょうか。2点目です。スピノサー社長、先ほど今回の発表、痛みを伴う決断とおっしゃっていましたが、ご自身にとってオッパマ工場、もしくは生産車種について何かエピソードが、車好きの社長としてのエピソードが何かあれば教えていただきたいと思います。
Well, the Opama plant is an icon of Nissan. It's what I can tell you. I visited this plant multiple times. It's a historical place for us, and this is one of the most difficult things that I've done in my career. I was there earlier today in a town hall explaining to the employees the unfortunate decision that we have made. And it was with a very great disappointment that I was faced. And as I said, is something very difficult and very painful. It's something that, as a leader, nobody wants to do. But it's something that unfortunately has to be done, as I have said before, for the future growth of Nissan and for the sustainability of many other employees in Nissan and in Japan. So, as I said, it's something very painful and something that I want to extend my deepest apologies to the employees that will be affected, because I understand the impact in their lives, in their families, and Nissan will do its best to support them in the best way possible. That's why, as I said before, we decided the proper timing to do that, so that we can have enough time to discuss with them and find options to support in the best way possible. Then as for the first question, the Nissan manufacturing system, maybe I will let Hirata-san elaborate a bit more on the technicalities, but the know-how and the processes are standardized in the Nissan manufacturing way. So we are confident that this can be done. This can be done in a smooth way. But probably Hirata-san can elaborate a little bit further on the technicality of it. Yeah. Hirata-san, if you will, please.
ご質問ありがとうございます。チーフモノづくりオフィサーの平田でございます。今、イバンから話がありましたけれども、工場間でのナレッジとかですね、ベストプラクティスの共有というのは、遡ればルノーと APW ということでやってた時代にですね、ルノーの工場も含めて、相当な頻度でですね、お互いの良い活動を共有化してですね、それが各工場で使えるものであれば水平展開という形で今までもやってまいりました。そういう意味で今回ルノーとのリバランスがありまして、もう一回日産プロダクションウェイということで NPW に戻りましたけれども、この活動はですね、脈々と継続的に行っておりますし、現在でも管理監督者長、そうですね、現場の係長、校長がですね、工場間で移動をしてですね、お互いの工場、中からだと見えなかったもの、そういったものを客観的に見てですね、また新たな改善ポイントを探す。それからその工場が持っていたノウハウを他の工場に また残していくと、そういった活動も定常的に行っておりますので、今回のことで、オッパマのナレッジ、スキルがですね、途絶えるということはないというふうに私は確信を持っております。
Thank you, Hirata-san. We have one last question that we can take if there's anybody wants to ask. If not, I'll ask Ivan to just mention the closing words. Oh, you want? Okay.
ロイター通信の白木と申します。1点だけ最後、ありがとうございます。オッパマ工場のその後の対応について、まだ決まっていないということでしたが、いつまでに、例えば先ほど理想としての不動産売却ですとか、他の活用とか、複数のパートナーとなさっている交渉を終えて発表されるご予定なのか、スケジュールをお聞かせください。
There's no timeline. I'm sorry, but at the moment, there is no visibility. We're in a very early stages. At the moment, what we're saying is we will stop the production of Nissan vehicles in the facility, and that's the content of what we are announcing today. Whenever we have some meaningful information, we will come to you and we will explain to you. So there is no timeline to communicate anything at the moment. Thank you for the question.
終了する27年度末までには決めるという理解でよろしいでしょうか。
Again, what we have decided is that the plant will stop producing Nissan vehicles. That is decided today. No more I mean, I don't know what else you're expecting as an answer. Sorry for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ivan, any closing words?
Again, as I said, thank you for attending today, even in this short notice. And I just want to reiterate the message to our employees, the fact that this is a very painful decision that the company had to take, but that we will be very responsible, very fair, and we will support them. We will very quickly start engaging with them and the unions to understand the options that we can provide, and that they can trust Nissan will be very fair and responsible in supporting them and their families in the transition. This is what I would like our employees to listen from us, and also that this is the end of a restructuring of a vehicle in Japan. There will be no further actions on vehicle restructuring in Japan. Thank you again for coming, and thank you for your attention. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Ivan. A big thank you to all of you for coming all the way. If you have any further questions, Nissan Communications team is always available. Thank you very much. ありがとうございます。
うん。